Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community.
There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Thursday, March 6th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, and business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. We present Pride Fete in August and Pride Fort Lauderdale in February. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leader anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Larry Farver. Larry has over 20 years of experience in human resources, acting, film, radio, TV, live events, parade, float design, production, and casting. He is also a board member of the West Side Association. Larry, Peter Bisuito's Naked Guy Crocheting is live in Wilton Manors on March 23rd. Tell me, what's happening?
Sure, Vaughn. Comedian Peter Bisuito is bringing his outrageous humor to Wilton Manors with the pilot episode of Naked Guy Crocheting. The live event takes place on Sunday, March 23rd, 2025 at 1 p.m. at Hunter's Nightclub on Wilton Drive. Billed as the most hilarious and ridiculous talk show, the event promises a lively atmosphere with Bisuito hosting alongside co-host Darren Thompson. The show will also feature special guest Del Shores, the writer-director of the famous Sordid Lives, and musical guest Chanteuse Jennifer McLean. Tickets start at $25. Expect a mix of comedy, music, and unexpected antics. For more details, visit mybigfunnypeter.com. Well, I know Peter, and he's a very talented gentleman. Mm-hmm. He has produced a movie, which I was a background extra in a crowd. But he, I remember he did another series, TV sitcom called Benton Chester. And he's done other comedy shows, including at the Sunshine Cathedral. Del Shores, though, I think will be a fabulous guest. If any of you, I think many people know Sordid Lives is probably his main claim to fame, but he's also known for Queer as Folk, as well as Dharma and Greg, the sitcom. So I'm looking forward to seeing the show. I hope many of you will check it out. Very talented gentleman. I think, the panel of guests, Del Shores is again Going to be, I think, a really great guest, as well as Darren Thompson. And I look forward to the musical talent of Jennifer McLean.
Not to be Little Miss Echo, but Del Shores, Sordid Lives, a naked guy. What could be better? It sounds like a blast.
I'm ready for the antics. I mean, we know there will be antics.
I do have a question. Are we going to actually see Peter?
You have to be at the show to see.
Buy your ticket.
Good answer.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Peter Bisuito's Naked Guy Crocheting live in Wilton Manors, March 23rd. Let's welcome anchor Dr. Bobby Huen. A world traveler and well-versed in global affairs, Bobby provides an international perspective of current events. A PhD in conflict resolution, Bobby is a certified civil and family mediator and the founder of BH Conflict Resolution Services. Bobby, Out My Closet Pride Edition comes to Hagen Park on March 9th. Tell me, what's happening?
So, Out My Closet's Pride Inside Spring Summer 2025 boutique pop-up shop, oh, that's a mouthful, is coming to Hagen Park Community Center on Sunday, March 9th from 1 to 4 p.m. The event offers free designer clothing, shoes, accessories, and cosmetics to attendees celebrating style and inclusivity. Guests can register at the door, making it an open and welcoming experience for all. The pop-up aims to support and uplift the community by providing fashion-forward items at no cost. Organizers encourage attendees to bring friends and to enjoy the festive atmosphere. Out My Closet, a non-profit dedicated to empowering LGBTQ youth, regularly hosts these events to provide resources and fashion essentials. This Pride Edition promises a vibrant mix of fashion, community, and self-expression. For more details, visit outmycloset.org. I have no room in my closet. I've been out. I've been out since I was a teenager. My closet just got too full and just got bounced out of it.
You need to get stuff out of your closet, is what you're saying.
Maybe you need to donate.
No, maybe. No. But I am sentimental with my clothes. I remember. I hang on to them, and I also remember occasions on where I got them. That's the meaning to me. So I know some people have keepsake photographs or like souvenirs, like this keychain is from whatever. Mine is clothes. Like
Very sweet.
So when my mother bought me as a teenager like a couple of shirts, they still fit, by the way. because my mother would buy shirts like 3 sizes too big. For me.
Yeah.
Like you're still growing. Like I'm already 17. I'm not going any taller. I'm Asian.
Oh my God.
Fashion, community, and self-expression sounds like a perfect combination. It's a great event for a worthy cause, too.
Exactly. Yeah. Looking forward to that. Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Out My Closet Pride Edition on March 9th. Let's welcome anchor Alex Morash. Alex has served as editor-in-chief of Options Magazine, media director of the National LGBTQ Task Force, and press secretary for the Florida Democratic Party. Alex, Bears of South Florida come out of hibernation with a pool party on March 9th. Tell me what's happening.
Sure thing, Vaughn. You know, the Bears of South Florida are shaking off winter with their March pool party at Solstice at Wilton Resort on Sunday, March 9th, 2025, from noon to 4. Tickets are priced at $35 and include lunch and a snack. Cash Bar will offer beverages, and a 50-50 raffle adds to the excitement. Attendees are encouraged to bring towel, chairs, and sunscreen as clothing is optional. Bears of South Florida's events support local LGBTQ organizations, making this gathering a nonprofit charity fundraiser. More details can be found at bosfl.org. You know, and it just sounds like a fun time, and I am always a big advocate of having pool parties where you don't need to bring a swimsuit, so sounds like a great time.
You know, and the Bears of South Florida has done a great job, especially in giving money back to the community. I mean, they've done a lot over the last year or so since they've been really involved down here, and it's awesome to see.
One of the largest fundraisers.
Yeah.
But let's do hope those bears do their business in the woods before they start splashing in the pool, if you know what I mean.
Oh, God, Greg.
All right. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Bears of South Florida pool party on March 9th. Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro. He is an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is an author of 2 short story collections and 7 books of poetry. Gregg, Bruce Vilanch reading and book signing at Stonewall Museum is on March 11th. Tell me what's happening.
comedy legend Bruce Vilanch will host a special reading and book signing for his new memoir, It Seemed Like a Bad Idea at the Time, on Tuesday, March 11th at 6 p.m. at the Stonewall National Museum. The event, free to the public, invites attendees to hear Vilanch's signature humor and behind-the-scenes stories from his decades in show business. Fans can expect an evening filled with laughter, personal anecdotes, and insights into his career. For more details, visit stonewall-museum.org. I think it's safe to say that not only does Bruce Vilanch have a t-shirt collection that rivals mine, but he's also one of the funniest living gay writers. Hearing him read from It Seems Like a Bad Idea at the Time, which is only his second book, promises to be a delightful occasion. It should be great.
Wow, second book and all the history he has in the community, right? It seems like there would be more. Maybe there's more.
He's busy writing for TV shows.
Is that what? Well, that's true. That's
Didn't he
true.
write for Oscars?
I would like,
Oscars,
Yeah.
He wrote a lot of Bette Midler's early material.
Yeah.
but also, this is a huge gift for the Stonewall Museum. Like, that's honestly getting Bruce Vilanch to do a book reading event for them. Like, this is just wonderful to see.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Bruce Vilanch reading and book signing at Stonewall Museum on March 11th.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Von Biggs. He is a community outreach coordinator at Holy Cross Health as vice chair of the Ryan White Part A Planning Council and a founding board member of TransEd. Von, Holy Cross will be present at the Bloom Shine Gala on March 29th. Tell me, what's happening, Von?
All right, Larry. Well, Sunserve, in partnership with AHF, is hosting the Bloom Shine Gala on Saturday, March 29th, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the venue in Wilton Manors. The evening will feature a cocktail reception, a plated dinner, live entertainment, and an award ceremony honoring contributions to the community. Holy Cross will also be present at the event, showing its support. The gala aims to celebrate and uplift the work of Sunserve, a nonprofit dedicated to providing vital services for South Florida's LGBTQ community. Attendees can expect a night of elegance, recognition, and celebration. For more details and ticket information, visit sunserve.org. You know, I'm really looking forward to this because in the flyer I got the email and it was like, you know, think, because of Bloom, you know, think magical Bridgerton garden. So, you know, we're in the midst of Gayville. So come on, let's see everybody come out in magical Bridgerton garden attire. I'm ready.
Lots of pansies, I'm hoping for.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my.
Sounds like a great event.
Yes.
Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Sunserve Bloom Shine Gala on March 29th.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Von Biggs, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Breaking news, Miami Beach Pride to allow out Republican Representative Fabian Basabi to ride in April parade. Out State Representative Fabian Basabi has been embroiled in an ongoing fight with Miami Beach Pride. You will recall that Basabi had a significant rejection from 2023 parade participants. He criticized Equality Florida as organizing protests against him from parade spectators. Last year, in 2024, Pride Board rejected Basabi's request again to be in the parade. He was running for re-election, and there was much community debate on not allowing him to be in the parade. Equality Florida's political director, Joe Saunders, ran against Basabi in one of the rare gay versus gay statewide races in the nation. Saunders lost the election in Miami Beach in November. Now Miami Beach Pride is again approaching. A series of private emails has been shared to Queer News Tonight executive producer Al Ferguson. On February 21st, Representative Basabi communicated with Miami Beach Pride Board Chair Bruce Horwich and said, quote, I am formally requesting pre-approval of my application to participate in the 2025 Miami Beach Pride Parade. Your previous decisions to bar me from the event was not only unconstitutional, but clearly politically motivated. Despite this, I attended last year's parade as a spectator, engaging with thousands of attendees in open and productive dialogue. My presence proved that any perceived security concerns were entirely unfounded. The only source of disruption during the previous incident was your, quote, partner, end quote, organization, Equality Florida, which deliberately agitated the crowd with misinformation. This was further exploited by my political opponent, who campaigned using taxpayer and nonprofit funds to further this false narrative, end quote. Basabi then suggested that substantial public money is spent on Miami Beach Pride and that any exclusions may affect the city's relationship with Pride. He said, quote, as you are all aware, the city of Miami Beach is a major partner in hosting this event, contributing $250,000 more than it has allocated to any other private entity, while also covering all police-related expenses. Given this substantial public investment, I urge you not to place your organization or the city in a position of legal and ethical liability by continuing to exclude a duly elected representative from an event that claims to be inclusive. Your refusal to engage in an open platform for dialogue and reconciliation is unacceptable, particularly in light of my landslide re-election, which unequivocally demonstrates public support for my leadership and advocacy. I am the elected representative for the district and the very city in which this parade is held. Your decision to exclude me contradicts the principles of inclusivity that Miami Beach Pride purports to uphold, end quote. Miami Beach City Commissioner Alex Fernandez communicated his desires on Basabi participation in the parade in an email to Miami Beach Pride saying, quote, to clarify a point in your email, the representative reached out to me last year regarding his participation in the parade last March. I appreciate the time you gave to speak with me regarding his participation in this year's Pride Parade. As we discussed, I agree and encourage that the representative should be allowed to participate, end quote. 3 days later, Horwitz responded before Miami Beach Pride saying, quote, Dear Fabian, thank you for your interest and participation in this year's Pride Parade. To answer your request, the board has decided in favor of your participation this year. We actually came to that decision midday today, and then I heard from Commissioner Alex Fernandez that you were seeking the city to somehow get involved in this situation. Commissioner Fernandez encouraged us to let you participate, but we had already decided that as well, end quote. Representative Basabi tells Queer News Tonight that a resolution was being considered about the issue from the City Commission, while a copy of the resolution was requested. We have not received it as of our reporting. Horwitz also said to the state representative, quote, nothing unconstitutional about it and definitely not political. You were in the parade in 2023 and became a huge safety issue for yourself and for the parade watchers. You had to be surrounded by police unlike everyone has ever had in our parades in our past. Your assistant was instigating the crowd by videotaping people yelling at you. In fact, your assistant went up to the people and put a camera in their faces while giving them the finger. There were special police in riot gear as well as plainclothes officers there just to surround your car and keep you safe. There are plenty of videos and pictures that show this. As for politics, you were in the parade the year before. We have never not allowed someone in the parade based on political party, end quote. In full disclosure, Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson's interviewed Representative Basabi extensively last year about this and many issues he supported in the previous legislation year. Queer News Tonight decided not to broadcast the more than 1 hour interview. Basabi has continued to challenge us to broadcast it. Basabi recorded the interview privately, and we have given permission to use that video however he seems fit. Miami Beach Pride Parade will be on Sunday, April 6th. Bruce Horwitz was the final word when he tells Representative Basabi, quote, to register, please go to our website, www.miamibeachpride.com. There you can register like everyone else. Once you have completed the registration, we will place you in the parade, end quote. Queer News Tonight will continue to follow this breaking story. Wow, that's a lot, right? But anyway, all I can think of, he has, I remember this happening 2 years ago and last year, but I keep looking up going, as he talks about he supports the LGBT community, I'm looking to find out where that has happened. And that's all I will say to that.
Goose egg. He has done nothing. First of all, he ran as a Republican. He voted for Don't Say Gay, and as Alex is going to tell you, his numbers are ridiculous. It's a joke. It's nothing. That his entire chain of emails is a chain of exaggeration. Is a chain of gotcha politics, and a chain of email that shows false equivalency. Tolerance or inclusivity does not mean we need to include the intolerant. He has demonstrated no commitments to our community. Yes, the fact that he is he is a gay man who's married to a woman. And somehow they're supposedly, we're supposed to roll out the red carpet and say, welcome, fellow gay. No, we're not doing that. You have to show you're a state representative who voted against your own community's rights. Why are we supposed to support you in any way?
Speaking of goose eggs, it's kind of too bad that eggs are so expensive because, the yolk's on him. And I was also wondering if his assistant is like Beverly Leslie's associate Benji.
Benji.
If they have that kind of relationship.
Oh, God, that would be horrific.
It was kind of interesting to research him a little bit for this because, he talked about his landslide. And for those to know, he got 51% of the vote. He got that with not only Joe Saunders on the ballot, but someone named Mo Saunders Scott was also on the ballot. And I hear that and I'm like, that's an old trick in politics, trying to get someone with a similar name. But the thing that I think the big takeaway of this is, one, Miami Beach's elected officials, the quality of those politicians has just deteriorated in the last few years. Not only is this guy just an absolute joke, for pity's sake, I understand filming people when they're doing awful things to you, but giving them the finger while you're doing it, I was like, okay, this is just a circus. But the fact that a commissioner supported him, and this is not I was just reading in the morning in the Miami Herald, the commissioners are accusing people that live at a hostel of crime without any evidence. They're going after college kids. I'm like, what the heck has happened to Miami Beach is really what this situation is about.
Oh, this is. Look, I know that in my past life as an Uber driver during the pandemic, I drove quite a few gay tourists to arrive in Fort Lauderdale or Miami, and they're looking forward to go to South Beach. And my advice was, cancel your reservation and come to Fort Lauderdale. Because Miami hasn't been gay in forever. Look at these elected representatives. If Miami Beach is still a gay mecca, the way that Wilton Manors is, we would not have that issue. Right. We would have voted. We would not have that issue. We would have voted that ass out a long time ago.
Dude, you're right. Miami Beach is now so straight that the gays are marrying women.
Well, my husband and I ride on one of the Miami Beach parade floats, and I do remember seeing Basabi loitering, or as he puts it, attending, quote, last year's parade as a spectator, end quote, when the floats were lining up on Ocean Drive. And from what I could see, most people in the crowd made serious efforts to avoid him at all costs. They knew he was trouble.
I think this year we should not avoid him. If he wants to be on a float, then we should protest him.
That's right.
Well, I have a little idea for people. Maybe people should register an Basabi or whatever his name is group. I think that would be wonderful. Go right
behind him.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up the USA view. Staten Island, New York, St. Patrick's Parade welcomes LGBTQ groups for the very first time. For the first time, LGBTQ groups marched in Staten Island's St. Patrick's Day Parade, ending over a decade of exclusion. Casey Hankins, a long-term advocate, called it a huge day for the queer community's acceptance in their own neighborhood. Spectators cheered as the parade stepped off at Forest Avenue, celebrating the new participants with overwhelming applause. New York's Mayor Eric Adams marched with the group, calling it a real win for queer Irish Americans and their resilience. The Staten Island Parade has been the lone local anti-LGBTQ holdout for many years. Participation in Staten Island's parade had dwindled due to the boycotts, but this year 80 groups signed up, 1/3 more than in 2024. The change wasn't without controversy. Bishop Peter Byrne withdrew church support. calling LGBTQ participation a contradiction to Catholic teachings. Some parishioners disagreed, saying Jesus wouldn't want to exclude anyone. One said, quote, "It's embarrassing how out of touch the bishop is," end quote. Despite differing opinions, the parade was a joyful celebration. Well, I'm glad to see that they finally caught up with Manhattan and the other boroughs, and certainly New Jersey and the other surrounding tri-state area. It's a shame that there's still some conservative holdouts. You know, all the people that are in the same, you know, it's about celebrating not only Irish heritage, but just the pageantry that is St. Patrick's Day.
I mean, one statistic can demonstrate your point. Staten Island is the only borough in the entire city of New York that actually voted for Trump.
Really?
So,
Okay.
and actually, I just looked up, I just did some quick research because I forgot the date, but the main parade after Bill de Blasio decided to, and all the city commissioners refused to attend, they actually let gays march for the very first time in 2015. So this is 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, the thing is, you know, if the church doesn't want to participate, then let them. It's not their problem. St. Patrick's is not a religious festival as much as a folk festival, isn't it?
Exactly.
And, you know, as an Irish American, you know, it's nice in some ways to see this. But, like, one, if you're going to take 2 seconds and talk about Irish heritage and go look at Ireland, the much more progressive country on something like this. But, like, I think for me, the biggest takeaway with this is that the LGBTQ rights groups cheapened this moment with allowing a dirty cop to march with them. Eric Adams should have been removed from office by now. The only reason he's still in office is he clearly was doing a quid pro quo with President Trump, which resulted in multiple members of the Justice Department resigning instead of withdrawing the charges. That's how dirty this mayor is. And this group allowed it. This is not a victory for our community. This is a day where we actually lost something by them doing this.
And also, thank you, Eric Adams, for speaking on both sides of your mouth. You want to support, you want to do quid pro quo with the arch homophobe in chief in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and his first lady Elon Musk, or actually acknowledge the LGBTQ community in your city. You can do both.
On the other hand, I would like to say to the Staten Island LGBTQ community, I'm going to have to pour myself a glass of non-alcoholic green beer, raise it high, and say, slancha.
You know, I part of this goes, and I'm trying to look at the other side, and that is they had a quarter more LGBTQ groups, you know, sign up to be in the parade. And that just shows, you know, to our persistence of continuing to try to put ourselves out there. And to me, I celebrate that. I'll take that win right now.
Our community loves a good party.
Right. Yep. Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Dr. Bobby Huen, and let's queer up the worldview. Royal Shakespeare Company brings queer love to the stage. The Royal Shakespeare Company is staging Edward II, a play about a medieval English king who chose queer love over his kingdom. Edward II, who reigned from 1307 to 1327, was the first English king to be deposed. He gave excessive power to his favorite, Piers Gaveston. Historians now believe the relationship was likely romantic, despite past attempts to plant it as a bromance. One chronicle described Edward's love for Gaveston as beyond measure, while another hinted at the vice of sodomy. The play's author, Christopher Marlowe, is rumored to have been queer himself. He was often called a heretic, a spy, and a sodomite. Marlowe's Edward II is filled with queer themes. This RSC production is running until April 5th at the Swan Theatre and portrays the relationship authentically. Director Daniel Raggett critiques the reductive, often sexualized depictions of their love, noting the political undertones of queer erasure. Despite some backlash, including homophobia, homophobic slurs, the play explores love, violence, and queerness. As actor Daniel Evans says, Edward II is not just about a queer king, but about complexity of human emotions. You can see Edward II in London before it ends in April. Now, some historical context, because, I'm a know-it-all and I need to express. Anyway, Edward II was deposed by his wife, Isabella of France, and her lover, Mortimer, and legend has it that Edward II was murdered by red hot iron inserted in his behind.
Oh.
Now, most historians doubt that to be true, because that would be, first of all, it would be a gruesome kill, but also second, it's kind of hard to miss when your king is burnt out half the insides. So these days, historians think that he was either fallen ill and died during captivity, or he was quietly murdered somehow. Now, he was succeeded by Edward III, who turned out to be a very, very successful king himself, and then who finally would depose his mother and her lover, and took back the reins of the country. Now, and also just want to say that I know that we didn't say it here, but Christopher Marlowe is almost contemporary of Shakespeare, right. And so he was a medieval jack of all trades in the service of Queen Elizabeth I.
Thank you, Professor Bobby. That was very good information. I swear, maybe 10 or 20 years ago, there was a movie, Edward II.
Okay. I was going to say, if you are unable to make it to London to see the play, I recommend the late gay filmmaker Derek Jarman's 1991 film adaptation of Marlowe's Edward II, which starred Jarman's muse, Tilda Swinton. So yes, that was 30-something years ago.
I'm just so young that it just felt like it was only 20 years ago.
It's a great movie, though. Really great.
That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing queer news tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Alex Morash, and let's queer up entertainment. Randy Rainbow's Defying Democracy parody on Trump and Musk is defying gravity. In this latest Wicked theme parody, Defying Democracy, Randy Rainbow makes his return, dragging Donald Trump and Elon Musk. The new video kicks off with Rainbow in his signature formal attire, performing a mock interview with Trump and Musk. He describes them as Washington, D.C.'s hottest new power couple. Rainbow wastes no time throwing jabs at the duo before transitioning into a parody of Defying Gravity from Wicked. This incredible performer, musician, and comedian is breaking the internet once again. Visit Randy Rainbow on YouTube to take a look at this Defying Democracy parody video. I got to watch it, and it was so cute. And it's so nice to have something to just sort of make light of the awfulness that we're dealing with, especially because, the two of them together, they're just absolutely disgusting to see, and he just goes right at them.
Well, and the fabulous Randy Rainbow, don't forget, he got many of us, gay and straight, through the Orange Malignancy's first term in office, and I have every confidence he will do the same for the next 4 years.
At this point, I'm not even sure the Onion can do parodies anymore. I mean, our government is a parody.
Yeah,
it's a parody government. Yes. It's a government staffed by the absolute worst people, kakistocracy, and thank God for Betty Bowers, Randy Rainbow. We need satirists, not just out and out humor. We need satirists.
And he's such an important person in politics. I did not know how to say Kamala's name until he did that Camelot parody, and I was able to teach everyone else how to say her name from that. So Randy,
it was funny. I was scrolling through Facebook when I saw it, and I was like, "What is this?" And then I was cracking up because to see. Usually, I don't like to watch Mr. 45-7, but it's a matter of it was kind of comical to watch, and I loved it. I mean, it had Wicked in it. I mean, how can you turn away from that, right?
We have to find humor in these times, and like you said, Bobby, they create their own material. It's not a big stretch.
Oh, look, Saturday Night Live is going to be great in the next 4 years.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up politics. MSNBC makes history without gay black hosts on new weekend show. Cable television news is becoming more inclusive with a major shift at MSNBC. The network is revamping its weekend programming. This spring, The Weekend will be launched, hosted by Jonathan Capehart, Eugene Daniels, and Jackie Alemany. Capehart and Daniels will make history as the first out gay black men to co-host a news program together. The show will air from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern on weekends. It will feature a panel-driven format, broadcast from Washington, D.C. Capehart, a Pulitzer Prize winner, currently hosts the Saturday Sunday show with Jonathan Capehart. Daniels, White House correspondent for Politico, will transition to his new MSNBC role while remaining president of the White House Correspondents Association. Alemany, on the other hand, is a 6-year Washington Post reporter. Capehart, Daniels, and Alemany discuss The Weekend on Morning Joe, where they promise to offer engaging conversations. The new show replaces the current weekend version hosted by Simone Sanders Townsend, Michael Steele, and Alicia Menendez. They will move to MSNBC's primetime lineup. This expansion comes at a critical time for MSNBC's programming changes. For a minute it seemed that the NBC and MSNBC stood for nothing but Caucasians. On the other hand, with brilliant queer thinkers such as Daniels and Capehart, MSNBC does have a chance to redeem itself and restore its formerly good name.
You're right. I think viewers should know that, just last week, Ebony Magazine was describing the purge of black journalists at MSNBC, including Jonathan Capehart. Yeah, right. He's been fired and rehired in a week. And don't forget, Joy Reid. What they did to Joy Reid is still something that they need to make up for. I'm glad that they're reversing, finally, this insanity that's been going over there. But, their ratings are doing terrible. They're not showing journalism, and it's rumored that it's up for sale. It's just sad to see it, and this is a nice little thing, but I don't know if this is going to save that network.
It's 7 to 10 a.m. It's like,
it's going to be up.
Awake.
You're right.
It's after our Friday night partying.
Set your DVR.
Right. DVR. What's that?
Political talk shows like this tend to be watched by Beltway insiders or people who are really, really rabidly interested in politics. Meet the Press is one of those programs that early, bloody early in the morning, but somehow everyone seems to have watched it. And the other thing is, I feel like the liberal, or at least the left/liberal side of media landscape, we just have such a diverse way to collect information. Not all of us are slavish to one TV network, and the other side where it's the chief it's just propaganda news all the time.
Right.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer, nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ and ally community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support if our community is to grow and then thrive. We must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Vaughn Biggs, and on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Larry Farver, Dr. Bobby Huen, Alex Morash, and Gregg Shapiro, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we hope you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, be transformative, and queer. Good night.
Good night.